All right, we begin with this. The alleged suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk will face a judge as early as tomorrow. It comes as authorities continue their search for a motive in the killing. But Utah Governor Spencer Cox says 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is not cooperating, and that's despite having family and friends who are. Meanwhile, hundreds gathered in cities across the country to honor Kirk over the weekend. There were vigils in Georgia, D.C., Houston, and in Phoenix, where a memorial outside Kirk's nonprofit, Turning Point USA, continues to grow. The organization says they will hold a public memorial service next weekend at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, and that venue can hold up to 73,000 people. CBS News reporter Andres Gutierrez joins us now from St. George, Utah. Andres, thank you for your time today. What else are you learning right now about the investigation?
Good morning, Mugu. Federal investigators say they now have hard physical evidence linking Tyler Robinson to the crime scene. The FBI Director Kash Patel this morning confirming that they have pulled DNA from two key items. Take a listen.
And I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
And so here in southern Utah, investigators have executed search warrants at the parents' house of Robinson up in Washington, Utah, about 15 minutes north from where I'm at. Here in St. George, this is the apartment complex, Unit 73, where Tyler Robinson lived with his roommate, who apparently is also his romantic partner. According to neighbors out here, there were about 24 FBI agents who showed up late Thursday night, and they worked throughout Friday in pulling boxes of potential evidence out of that particular unit. But again, this DNA evidence now giving them some hard physical evidence linking him to this particular crime scene.
And Andres, as you just said there, you are right where Tyler Robinson lived. Who have you spoken to and what have you learned about Tyler Robinson out there?
Yeah, here in the last 72 hours, we have been working the doors, trying to talk to classmates, neighbors, trying to figure out how this individual could have been capable of this heinous assassination. I ended up talking yesterday to Adrian Rivera, who ended up sharing woodworking classes with Robinson in high school. He described Robinson as timid and quiet, someone who was more interested in video games than in politics. He says that he was, as many are out here, absolutely stunned to learn that his former classmate was accused of something like this, saying that he felt shocked, disgusted, and ashamed that something like this happened here. Another classmate that I spoke to late last night, Jada Funk, grew up with Robinson. She remembers him as a kind student, went to elementary and middle school with him, would describe him as a teacher's pet who was always on time. Take a listen to what she told me.
I mean, the type of kid that would remind the teacher to assign homework, and he's always on time, always a hard worker, a good helper, not really a problem starter.
What do you want Americans to know about St. George, Utah and Washington, Utah following this?
Just that this doesn't describe kind of who we are and what kind of people we bring out. This was kind of out of the blue for all of us, those who knew him and those who didn't. So I don't think we should really be trademarked by this. I think we have a lot of good people, a lot of good families and stuff.
And that was the sentiment also at a vigil that was held at Veterans Park in Washington, Utah, where Robinson's parents live. I also did have a chance to attend the chapel where his parents would go to church. I spoke with their bishop, who declined to talk about the ongoing investigation. There was no mention of what happened on Wednesday's shooting at that particular service. So overall, just a lot of people stunned by what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Still a lot of questions about this. Andres Gutierrez, thank you so much for your time. Now, both President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance have talked about how they plan to honor their late friend, Charlie Kirk. The VP announced on social media that he will host the Charlie Kirk show later today. And President Trump says he plans to travel to the funeral this weekend. So let's go live to Washington and CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, thank you for joining us today. What more do we know about the president's plans to travel to the funeral?
Mugo, President Trump has said that he will leave Sunday morning, just days after he returns from his trip from the United Kingdom, to attend that larger memorial service for Charlie Kirk in Glendale, Arizona, held in the same stadium where the Arizona Cardinals NFL team plays. So a big gathering there. And it's just the latest in terms of what this White House is doing in terms of remembrance of Charlie Kirk. You mentioned that Vice President Vance will be hosting the Charlie Kirk live stream podcast at noon Eastern today. And yesterday, there was a big vigil at the Kennedy Center here in Washington, D.C., where White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt talked about how Charlie Kirk was one of the first supporters of her congressional run in New Hampshire in 2022. But this is something that President Trump has said he will go to on Sunday, and has also said could potentially be where he awards Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom.